Not that anybody's watching.
You could get view. I've been getting the weirdest views on stuff lately.
Yeah, you never know. Always worth putting yourself out there if you can, right?
Yep. Oddly enough, that Mechabellum game we did that co-op stream with you has been getting me crazy good numbers lately.
You did mention that, yeah. And I think I saw you've been revisiting that one, right?
Spare time. Well, it's always been just my spare time game. So in fact, like I could just take my Sundays and just, no, we're just gonna play this. I'm gonna screw up, and let's see if we can hit a decent MMR number.
Yeah, it's always good to have like a habit game that you can just fall into easily without having to like learn it. For those kind of low energy days, or
Yeah. Well, I've found if the best if for Sunday nights, you can get really good views on that time frame. It's just you have to play a chill game, a very relaxing game. It feels like nobody on Sunday night wants to watch high octane stuff that's coming from my channels, at least.
They're probably all trying to get to bed for Monday morning.
Yeah.
That notification is
One of the people that always hates, like, oh, notification popped up. Better go check that right now.
I won't be putting out any advertisements or anything like that. This will just be kind of a stealth stream on my end, but
Yep. I was, at some point, later streams, I might have some pictures to send you for visualization, but this time I'm not going to have that yet just because of where we're at in this. But keep in mind on that too, if you can have a second monitor for like Discord or something.
oh yeah, I do.
Because at some point we'll get into actual, okay, I'll start saving that for actual recording. But yeah.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, I'm ready when you are. That was kind of redundant.
Yep. All right. Okay. Count down, do my intro, and introduce you. Oop, that wrong button. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome, everybody. Another wonderful day at the agency. Today we'll be going through more Lancer lore with the lovely co-host Yuki.
Hi, Yukikaze.
Okay, you really. I think it was picking you up kind of on that. You might want to do it one more time.
Okay. Hi, Yukikaze.
You might be peaking on your side on that one, but don't go too high pitched on me. Okay, but no, today should be finishing up the. I don't want to say preliminary lore, but basically the lore that'll get us into the current time frame. We ended off roughly at the year 10,000. We introduced an AI super god, but we are going to have to rewind about 1,000 years because I missed a little point on that end.
Also, some AI prophets that preempted the super god, and then
Well, AI supercomputers who thought it. That's enough in the air. I won't go too deep on that. But we're gonna rewind it from the year 3000 to the year 1998.
it was a good year.
Yeah, that is a thing on that one. All right, so the one thing we do have to go over here on this point, and I think you actually made a joke about it before. While you had been expanding at this point in their collective history, or this would have been back at the era of First Com still, but the very methodical and friendly expansion. Well, one of the 10 colony ships showed up at a system that Union had been actually setting up to colonize. So quite a literally of, hey, we developed this space travel years, like a couple years after you left. We got here first. It was whoopsies. It didn't much help that the it was the Armstrong, there's this arriving in the system of the Boundary World, had developed kind of a navigation cult and were very religious. And they might have threatened to collapse their colony ship into the planet to kill everyone if they weren't given the rights to it.
Wait, did I hear that right? Did you say a navigation cult?
Yes, they worshipped their navigators.
Oh, okay. Navigate, like, okay, worshipping like the either the people or the computers that were doing the navigating, not like the concept of navigation.
No, but okay, weird religious things are gonna pick up here in a second because about a couple years after they colonized the planet,
Mm-hmm.
a giant monolith appeared in orbit. Just
Cool.
you know, kind of what was it 2000: A Space Odyssey monolith style.
Mm-hmm.
Just popped up in orbit, and people started developing psychic powers and gaining visions.
Awesome.
Now, great. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit thick because this is still around the year 3000. If you remember, Raw popped up in about the year, or this is in the year 2000. Raw popped up in about the year 3000.
You are going to be adding like a timeline overlay when you talk about this, right?
I will have. Yes, I actually have a thing for that. We will be doing that.
Excellent.
You will see this on the video, everyone. So the monolith is classified as Monist 2. I'm probably mispronouncing that. MONIST.
MINI.
Monist, I'm guessing.
MON or MIN?
MONIST.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Monist
Monist.
2.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Raw is classified as Monist 1 and he popped up 1,000 years later.
So
yeah.
They started with 2?
Yeah, apparently that's canon. Like I've gone through several references because I was going through this like that's not right. And then
that can't possibly be right.
Yeah, everyone's making a note. It's like despite being prior to Raw. Okay, so yep, colony, psychic people, really not happy with Union overall, worshipping a monolith god. This leads to the Union's their first war. I was actually incorrect. It wasn't against the okay, it was also kind of against the trade baronies, but also kind of got into a fight with them. And how do you think they solved the problem of this war?
Violence?
Specifically, what type of violence administered how?
Well, my first instinct would probably be some kind of death rays, but under the circumstances, you mentioned dropping colony ships earlier, but I think that was somebody else.
The people they are currently fighting said, "Give us this planet, or we kill everybody."
Got it. Maybe ramming their own ships into the colony ships?
It's not too bad. They have colonized this planet. It's been a couple hundred years. They decided to, fight this war. They shoot it.
Sure, of course they do.
Everything I find is a mass kinetic shotgun style strike on all of their planets. Very American.
America.
Kablamo. Hippity hoppity, go fuck yourself. Okay, but that basically ended the war a bit. The Union was about to push their advantage, but then the events of Raw, Deimos, and all that stuff happened. See prior video for a breakdown on that one. But that brings us back to the current timeline, and we are all caught up. I'll try not to go back too much or side much into any one particular lore. These are the basics, but unfortunately, they are important for it a little bit, and I needed to make sure we covered them. But all right, Union's on its second committee. They are going good. Raw has been placated. They are no longer, in the fear of Moon God, ancient Egyptian Moon God of the sun.
Of imminent divine intervention.
Yeah, don't fuck with Raw. Plus side, Raw left around a bunch of little pieces, a bunch of crazy tech, and yeah, every scientist in the Union is kind of like, okay, what's this stuff do? Car phasing through all that kind of stuff. But we did mention they were able to make wormholes. Now, the wormholes they were going to go into blink space, a pseudo hyperspace, subspace, pocket dimension space, whatever you want to call it in X sci-fi thing.
Or hammer space.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, this isn't like a ship can just open this. This does have to be done through giant rings to travel through.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's, or they were kind of running about, all right, who wants to go through the giant space portal? Now, one of the companies that actually stepped up to this was a starship development company, North Star, or IPSN, later on known as, after a couple corporate mergers. They are able to launch a ship through the gate out to the other side of the gate, meaning they are able to achieve even faster than light travel. Like, they are operating on Stargate logic now.
Mm-hmm.
Which allows the Union to bring up not only their core worlds and other worlds to these gates, but also allows transmissions through them, establishing the OmniNet. Internet in space. I can only imagine what space Twitter's like.
Oh, I'm sure it's awful. The Galgamex.
Oh, don't even. I'm getting DBZA vibes out of this now, but there is actually a space Australia. But we will get back into that later. So, Union, they now have advanced warping technology, crazy AI that can don't give a damn about physics pretty much, and can run entire cities. Basically, you ever wish what would be the streaming, gaming, and all that stuff was up to snuff? Well, it is, and it's all run by one computer on an entire planet. That's how much these programs are, as they'll be classified as NHPs, which would be a non-human person. To differentiate it from standard AI, which that name doesn't imply any creepy nomenclature to it at all. Nothing's bad going on here. All right, but with second comes leadership being very, I'm going to be generous and say colonialism centric. Begins the mass exodus. They can now warp travel. Union colonies can now build gates, spanning through, and just the Blink network, everything, infrastructure, just expand, grow, expand, grow. There are literally no limits or holders on what they can do.
No holds barred.
Free real estate for everybody. The other thing this, yeah. Well, the other thing this allows to do with all of that, because Union scientists are not only given like this crazy AIs that can do anything. But these AIs don't have any limitations on processing power. This
Oh,
is no update to next graphics card. This is you are at max settings at all the time, and your computer shows 0% on any kind of processing requirements.
yeah. Well, I mean, they already had, the older computers that were able to replicate all of existence accurately at beyond real time speed. So I could see that.
Yep. And, well, to be fair, those computers are crazy hard to manufacture. Like those were like the pinnacle of pinnacle. Even current Union can't really make those easily. Where this is, you can have anything like that. So in the advancement in technology, one of the styles of technology they really develop into is 3D printing.
I see.
Because with the new blink gates, with the massive amounts of computation, Union doesn't care about resources anymore. There are just such an abundance of everything. It becomes a redundancy, like between drones, automated manufacturing, 3D printing. You don't have to worry about any kind of raw problem.
Mm-hmm. That raw
This
material
also,
issue.
yep, this also turns Union into a I can't say a form of government that doesn't sound bad. I think that just might be government nowadays. But basically, it turns it into a similar style of government to Starfleet,
Mm-hmm.
just colonial, which is going great. I mean, Second Committee has been, a little bit warmongery, a little bit,
A little bit warmongery.
uh, limitless resources combined with limitless production power, combined with unending expansion. People in power get pretty crazy overall. They just you can't be immortal. You can't turn yourself into a computer program, and you can't um, study God AI. But this goes fairly great, fairly decently, until we get to the Hyanian crisis, or the Hycinian. Yeah, I'll send you the name on this so you can try to pronounce this, because that's
Uh,
yeah, that's
I think it would be Hercinian.
Hercinian. Okay.
Or
So the
Hercinian?
Hercinian crisis. Yes, sci-fi book writers, you like to make crazy words. We understand.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about 45,000 U. What this is colonists on the Hyrian encounter an aggressive alien life. And if you're anywhere near the modern culture currently, they're bugs. They found the bugs, the Starship Trooper bugs, the Helldiver bugs, the Zerg, whatever you want to call them.
Of
They
course.
found
They're always out there
bugs.
somewhere.
They found a single planet of bugs.
Or
And
the Ender's
unfortunately,
Game bugs, for that matter.
God, they really is used everywhere, isn't it? But two of the interesting things happen for this. The hyper militaristic colonial government with unlimited resources gets to go do a bug hunt.
Would you say that they have unlimited cosmic power?
No, that's raw. But they get to deploy their brand new state-of-the-art military weapons, their next generation hard suits for deep space, or as as everybody who piloted them and saw that wasn't an incompetent government worker called them mechs. They got them giant robots fighting the bugs.
Of course.
This was popularized and pushed heavily by Union's largest state-owned corporation, General Massive Systems, which, give everything a crazy name. Then we get General Massive Systems.
Hmm.
Why don't just go with super heavy systems? Like go the full mecha route on that one. But basically, this company produces these, sells in the Union, and Union Second Com genocides the bugs. Not any kind of engagement, not any kind of negotiation. They're just, let's stomp some bug.
Oh, one does not negotiate with bugs. This is known.
True. Yeah. On the other hand, you have to realize, while the government might be hyper-militaristic in all this and expansionist, most of the population lives in peace, gets to stay at home, have universal health care, and no living costs. So, they're...
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's like the core Union worlds are amazing to live at. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is the good Star Trek future. Nice. And when their government announced, we found alien life and killed all of it, combined with the general disconcert and mounting unpopular, how unpopular government was going. Besides the Piston One mass shotgun against the psychic people, the alien genocide, and the general discontent, Union decides to have itself a good old civil war.
Awesome. What could go wrong?
Well, I mean, they admit one bit of opposition, and they thoroughly kicked it to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Now, surprisingly enough, the revolution is televised and succeeds. Second Com is thoroughly dislodged, and the formation of Third Com, or Third Committee, is formed. Now, notice the major fallout from this is one of the people who was a part of Second Committee higher-ups and a well-known industrial figure, John Cardigan Harrison, decided to go to planet Ras Shamra. I'll also send you this. I can post it up later. And found his own sanctuary planet for any of the Second Com members from the purge from Third Com. And the way he gets around using this is founding Harrison Armory, the military-industrial complex of what would be of Third Com. The reason he got away with this is Ra Shamra happens to be the main manufacturing of General Massive Systems. So all of the wartime production, he kind of controlled that. And instead of trying to dislodge him, they decide to, just hash out a nice little piece. Like, okay, you guys gonna keep the warmongering down?
We promise.
We're just going to develop the military-industrial complex from now on.
It's just a little military-industrial complex. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah, it lasted all 30 years. To be fair, though, Harrison Armory didn't try to overthrow Union. They tried to overthrow the trade baronies, or the New Federation, as they were called previously. The Karakan trade baronies. The colony ship from the first mass colony ship sent out. And from there, they kind of, Union just like, all right, trade baronies, Harrison Armory, we'll ref the fight. Go at it. Third Com is a very non-committal, non-aggressive force. They like to be the peacekeepers and general expansionists. They don't like to be an oppressive government. They're the new republic.
Mm.
Yeah, oof. All right. On the upside from this, the baronies do become a full member of Union after that, but Harrison Armory has to pay reprimands to Union for doing the mass war. Union only demanding that Harrison stand trial and justice at Cradle. Harrison is a bit of a crafty SOB, though. So instead, while he did go willingly, he decided
Your
to
voice chat is
clone
open, just
himself,
so you know.
and now Harrison Armory is run by a clone of Harrison.
Oh, sorry. That's okay, Coach. The voice chat that we're in is only for people who are approved collaborators. So it wouldn't be a huge deal if somebody popped in, I don't. But thank you for letting us know.
Yep, not too much of a problem. But okay, now we do have to go back a little bit because remember the Anu I brought up earlier? Well, they kind of have a bit of a problem. They had a religious split. Some of them left for Union space, like, hey, we want to be citizens. We're sick of being part of these oppressive psychic rock worshippers. And settle in area called Boundary Garden. It's been working out fairly good for Union until the magic space rock popped up on top of their planet, and they also decided to go do a crusading.
Hmm.
And with that, we are currently brought back up to modern times of Union. The year is 5016. God, those teen digits are just a little little odd. Just a little odd. But overall, how does being caught up sound?
I'm not exactly sure the nature of the question. Like, do you mean, do I feel like I'm caught up, or do you mean like,
How does this world feel at this point? Because this is the current timeline
gotcha.
at this.
So yeah, we've got, you know, quite a lot of history there, obviously. And it's it feels like we've gone through multiple iterations of like different kinds of sci-fi settings to get to the point that we're at, which is intriguing and means that they've got the lore set up hypothetically so that you could play in different parts of the timeline and have a different type of like campaign experience.
Unfortunately, this is a lot of just background stuff that sets up the basics on other factions and things going on in the universe. Most of their content
Okay.
is set in the current era. The biggest point, though, is the 3D printing and the mechs. It basically allows the players to set up their mechs any kind of way they want or design.
And then
This is a mech-based system. Yep. Which, we're going to get some fun stuff next time, because I believe then we should do a brief rundown of all the major players. We've kind of mentioned them as they popped up in history. There's been a few we haven't touched on yet, and a few that don't feel like they should be as big of players as they are, but are. I think we will wrap it here. I hope everyone has a good night, and I hope you have a good night too, Yuki.
All right. Have a good night. Bye bye, everybody. Matini.
All right, recording is done. Because I was like, no.
Okay, I was debating keeping the stream going potentially and just switching over to some gaming. But I think I have to take care of a couple things first. Um, don't know if I'll be back on to do, some actual games in a little bit. If I do, it'll
No.
probably be something short. Um, but, I think I'll go ahead and, end the stream for now, and then that way when I start back up later, if I do, the stream will have an appropriate title. But thank you everybody for joining me. For now, I'll find somebody to raid.
Wiki.
Yes, Coach?
W stream.
W stream? I don't know what that means.
W. Win.
Oh, win. Okay. Got it. Well, thanks, Coach. I'm glad you enjoyed. These, recording sessions that we're doing are actually for, Agent on his side to create some YouTube videos, so be on the lookout for those, because when they go up, they'll have a lot of fun editing and stuff in them, and will probably be, there's a certain, amount of fun that's had for
That's good.
seeing it live, but, I think it'll have a lot more polish when you see it on YouTube. Yeah, let's go! Alright, looks like I'm going to raid Stratori, who's playing It Takes Two.
Probably turn off TTS when doing them though.
It shouldn't matter because, they're doing their own recording on their side, and my TTS doesn't come through on, their end, only on my side. Unless, somebody on my end is just, like, spamming it and it's, messing with me. But if that happens, I can always just, like, turn it off or mute it. But again, thank you so much for dropping in, and we'll go ahead and read Stratori. Good night, everybody. Matane. Might be back later.
Hello.
Yukikaze Gaming and viewers. Let's spread love and positivity. Every